lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home. June 5th, 1909, the very first event ever held at this historic Indiana landmark was a helium gas-filled balloon competition where the winner floated 382 miles before landing a day later in Alabama. Now, a century plus, we float in a similar contraption circling the same liftoff point, the corner of 16th Street and Georgetown Road. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the venue, the Monster Energy Cup car is the contraption of choice, and the Patriot Fire Cup Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300 is the event. And all the hoopla from Gentlemen Start Your Engines to the sip of the milk will be brought to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Hoosier State, Sean Ambrose and Adam Young with you tonight for another GSRC broadcast. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad, the Dr. Yaman, and at his disposal will be the visionary camera locations provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, the great, the one and only Dougie Beard. Adam, welcome aboard this evening, sitting in for Chris. We appreciate it. Tonight, we are at the Brickyard, a tough track to race on because of its shape and fast straightaway speeds, but I'll let you tell us a little bit more about, or maybe even a lot, about the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, you know, we could always go over the basics. I mean, it's a 2.5 mile, rectangular shaped oval with 9 degrees of banking in the corners. I mean, Indianapolis, if you don't know Indianapolis, you need to go find a book. And there's probably been hundreds of books written about Indianapolis. You can go on Amazon, find one. You can probably even go to your local bookstore and find one. And I tell you what, that's because this place is probably one of, if not the most historic racetrack in the world, having been open since the late 1900s. I mean, it's just a phenomenal place. But I will tell you one thing. Anybody that's driven this place knows it has 4 corners, and they may look the same going from the top down, but each one of them drives a little bit different. So with that, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around the Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today in the GSRC Chevrolet SS. Indianapolis is a track that needs no introduction at all. Just saying the name of the place brings back all sorts of amazing racing memories to anybody that has motor oil in their blood. So, for your guide around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in this big, heavy stock car, here we go. Under the start-finish line, looking for about the 1 on the wall as your brake marker. Let it float in here to the entrance of the corner. Pick up the throttle a little bit. Let it roll back off through the short chute here. Turn 2 is very, very tricky. So you have to really find the bottom again. Halfway into the gas, back into the gas. Watch that wheel spin off the corner. Car will get very, very loose. Down the long backstretch here at Indy. Plenty of time to see turn 3 coming at you. Trying to figure out your mark. Once again, look for that 1 on the wall as your braking point and let it float down into the corner. You hook those left side tires right underneath that white line. Don't catch the rumble strips as that'll make it loose. Turn 4. Same situation. Let it float in, pick up the gas, roll through the center and off, and watch that wheel spin on exit. Back down the front stretch, across the yard of bricks, back down into turn 1 again. Looking for that 1, let it float in, onto the brake a little bit to let the nose set on the car, back into the gas. Right on the exit, you're going to roll into the throttle. You're not going to just mash the gas down and let it stick. You really have to play a delicate balance here with the throttle at Indianapolis in this big heavy car. Back down the back stretch again. On your left is the Brickyard Crossings Golf Course. Fun fact for you. Turn 3, back at the 1 sign, let it float down, hook those left side tires at or right about the white line, float it back out to the wall. Turn 4 again, back down, right to the rumble strips and out. Coming down the start-finish line once again, the start-finish line straight, fans to the left and to the right, the big pagoda looking you on, across the yard of bricks. That is going to complete our track guide around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the GSRC Chevrolet SS. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
And as we come back from the lap guide, somebody's out there having a little bit too much fun. Scott Eckridge going backwards fast enough for the roof flaps to come up, and there he goes. He's trying to Ricky Bobby Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So Sean, you know, we've talked about the track and everything. Let's talk about some points.
Yeah, buddy, you know, tonight it's 300 miles and 120 laps with a halfway point at 60. But here are the summer standings right now. Brian Yazik up top there, sitting comfortably. I don't know, maybe not exactly too comfortably. I see him. Does anybody see him in the field yet? I don't know if he's here. I know he was at Eldora last night. We'll check, make sure he's going to be here tonight. If he's not, he could be in trouble here after Milwaukee. Thomas George sitting there in second. Nick Cohan right behind him.
Yazik is here.
Yazik is here, okay. Tim Johnston a little further back there in fourth, and then it kind of slides back to this last 6, and that's Tommy Ryan, Ricky Harden, James Skrhula, Jeff Ward, Tyler Dalton, all really, really close there. When you go 5th back through 9th, Rhett McBride a little bit further back there in 10th. Now, James Skrhula, have we seen him check in? Because I know he was having some internet issues, but hopefully that's not going to affect him tonight. But there's your summer standings. Let's look at the overall here real quick for the season. Remember, we've got the 3 segments, the summer, the spring, summer, and fall segments. These are the overall season standings. Yazik up top now. Again, he is here, so looking to defend, keep those points to him. A win would go a long way. Consistency would go even further, I'm sure, as we continue on through this season. Nick Cohan in second. Now, that's the fight between him and Yazik, first and second. And you go a little bit further back to Ryan and George having a really, really good battle there. Only 2 points separate them. And then the rest of the field there, Ricky Harden, Tyler Dalton, Tim Johnson, James Skrhula, and Drew Carroll, all just separated by less than 20 points there. 5th, back on through 9th. Rhett McBride sits in 10th, 174 off the leader. Now, as I was saying there, Adam, it is 300 miles tonight. Yes, that's 120 laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the halfway point will be 60, where the drivers 1 through 10 will get bonus points from 10 down to 1 at the halfway point. This is the 9th race out of the 12 for the summer season, and with only 4 races left in the summer season, we are past the halfway point in the full season. So, Adam, lots going on. This is a big race for a lot of drivers tonight.
It is, you know. I mean, and you've got Nick Cohan trying to chop a little bit into that Brian Yazik's lead there. I mean, Brian Yazik, the last time I was able to call a PRL Cup race, was trying to start to run away with it, and you know, so Nick Cohan, like I said, doing my number 21 proud right there, trying to crawl his way back into the standings here. But you know, 120 laps at Indy, and as you know, Indy, we were talking a few minutes ago about just how many laps between the 2 of us we've put on this track, and you know, anything can happen here.
Yeah, and it's a long race tonight. Listen, 120 laps around the Indy is a grind, buddy. Let's talk about the news from the week, though. Just 15 minutes down the road in Claremont, Indiana, the American Pool Supply Truck Series And the SimRacing Apps Grand National Series were in action. The trucks were on Sunday night. The Grand National cars were on Tuesday night. And there was some great racing there over at the old IRP. And a man that is on a hot streak right now is Jeff Ward. He's won 5 straight PRL Series races for the second straight week. Well, he's won 5 straight. Now, for the second straight week, could he sweep? If he wins tonight, that'd be a 2-week streak of sweeping these races. And well, I don't think it's any great surprise. Jeff Ward finds himself at the top of the practice charts with qualifying starting now. They'll get 2 qualifying laps here. I think it's 2 qualifying laps, isn't it? Yes. Yes, 2 qualifying laps here at Indy tonight. That first lap, very important. You got to get the car up to full song, and you really got to find your groove quick, because the entry, exit off of these turns really critical to a great qualifying lap, aren't they, Jeff?
Yeah, they really are. I mean, and it's you got to know, hit the brake point just right. Yeah, you do brake a little bit here, and but I think. Honestly, what I found this Gen 6 car, people think I'm a little crazy when I talk about it, but I really feel like the key to a really fast lap is not so much when you get on the brake, but how you roll off the brake and roll back into the gas. And that, I think, can make all the difference in the world between trying to get fast, because it's kind of like a road course. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up out of these 90-degree corners to come down a really long and fast straightaway. And like a road course, if you don't have that good exit coming off 2 and then also 4, your lap time's really going to hurt.
Yeah, and we talked about how different these turns are. The way you get off of 2 is not the same way you get off of 4. Those are 2 totally different turn exits, and the speed off of them, so important. Both so hard to get the grip down with only about 9 degrees of banking out of those turns. So not a lot of grip there. Hopefully they'll throw a little bit of rubber down tonight, but we'll see here. Now listen, this is a Fast 5 event tonight, and for those of you who are just joining us, maybe haven't seen the Premier Racing League before, the Fast 5 event tonight includes Jeff Ward, Nick Cohan, Tim Johnston, Thomas George, and Brian Yazzie. Now all of them have an opportunity, if they win the race, to take home an extra cash bonus prize. And what will happen tonight is the top 5 from this event will set the 5 fast eligible drivers. The Fast 5 eligible drivers. You see what I did there? For the next Fast 5 event at Darlington. And Darlington will be coming up here, I want to say August, sometime in August, maybe late August if I remember correctly. So we're looking forward to that, but certainly want to keep an eye on those drivers tonight, as again, they try and maybe take home a little bit of money tonight. So Ward, Cohan, Johnston, Thomas, George, and Brian Yazzie, all your contenders for that. So right now, most of the drivers, we're about half the field right now that we have here, have completed a qualifying lap. I have a couple, or a few of them, several of them now working on their second lap. And I honestly think you'll hopefully see that fast lap on the first one. Sometimes that second lap just doesn't seem... once you know you've got one down, that second one doesn't always work out the way you want it to, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And the tires here play a big role. I mean, you'll see some fall off, especially if we're able to get some long runs. But that first lap right off the gate, that's going to be your quickest. I mean, in these on these qualifying laps, these guys are carrying, I believe, about 165, 170 miles an hour through these corners. And if you think about it, with the way the spoilers were cut, what is about 2 updates ago, right, Sean? In iRacing, an update or 2 updates ago, you're really pushing these cars and the tires hard. So that first lap is going to be the money maker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, we've seen a couple of drivers already peel off after one. Jeff Ward, McBride. It looks like Drew Carroll's done the same thing. They got their one lap in and said, "I think that's enough."
Well, you can see on the leaderboard there that Jeff Ward, he had every reason to pull off for a second lap. I mean, why not? Why waste the time when you're up by actually over 2/10?
Yeah,
over the car behind you.
Yeah, definitely. So tonight, pit strategy. This is a long race, and the window on this Cup car at Indy I know they're running with a full tank of fuel here this evening, but you thinking maybe 40 laps, 42 laps, something like that?
I think it'll be about that. I think it'll be really telling on the first stop because, and you could count on, I think tonight, being able to see some green flag pit stops just because of the nature of Indy. You'll see the field separate out quite a bit, and so once we hit those green flag pit stops, you're going to be finding guys out there. They're going to be trying to find every opportunity they can to also save a little bit of fuel. Just think about the last couple of Brickyard 400s and the last couple of Indy 500s and how many of those have come down to fuel mileage. It very well could come down to fuel mileage here tonight.
All right.
Okay, so with that, I guess we got the NP3 Designs Pole Award winner. I feel.
Yeah,
okay.
let's let Andrew Jones get around here real quick. See what kind of lap he can put in. It does look like just about everybody is called it a day here, but Andrew Jones coming around to finish his lap right now. Let's see if he can get up the board here. Oh, that'll get him good enough for 16th. All right, now let's go ahead and do that. Sorry, Adam, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on it now. The MP3 Designs Pole Award is going to go to, well, none other than Jeff Ward, who looks to make it a sweep this week. Let's go on board with him now across that start-finish line and really pat him right down there on the bottom.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing guys have to get down there on the bottom all night long, especially on fresher tires. You might see some guys, especially as the tires get a little bit worn, start to drift a little high, but a little high is going to be just above that white line, not just below it.
Well, the Loud Pedal Motorsports driver is definitely fast here at Indy tonight. Seems to have the car really hooked up. It looks really settled down there on the bottom, almost right on top of that white line there. It's boy, that's a real headed car coming off the turn, Adam.
It is, and just based on the speeds that we've seen out of him in practice and qualifying, there's no reason that we should see Jeff Ward somewhere near the top of this field tonight. So the rest of the field's going to have to watch out for him. I mean, he's just got this place figured out here so far. Well,
with that wrapping up our qualifying session, let's go down trackside for this country's national anthem here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we are back and complete the national anthem segment for this evening's event. Adam, with just about less than a minute to go before we go to the grid here, I was in the woodshed this afternoon, and, well, I thought maybe a pick would be wise for today's event. And, I was touting the greatness of Tyler Dalton. He's put that car in 7th to start this race. I just think Tyler is due for a win. I don't feel 100% confident that Jeff Ward can actually pull off this sweep. This is a long race. It's going to take a lot of patience, but it's also going to take a little bit of guts, right? What's the Mexican word for it? I think cojones to win this race. I just don't know.
I like pulled from YouTube.
I like Tyler's chances this evening. I really, really do. And look out for that number 19 this evening. I think the Carolina driver might have something up his sleeve. May include a little bit of strategy, but we shall see. This is going to be a fun one indeed. But I think we are safe now and can head to our grid and call out this huge field here this evening. A really, really good showing. Looks to be we're going to have 35 to 36 drivers start this race, but it all starts with Jeff Ward on the pole with Scott Eckridge there rounding out row 1.
Yeah, looking at row 2, Nick Cohan and Rhett McBride coming in there in the last couple of seconds and laying down some really good times.
Row 3 going to be Paul Pepper and Troy Haight.
Row 4 is belonging to your pick there, Tyler Dalton. Hey, what else do you do in the woods? Never mind, we don't want to know. Tommy Ryan starting alongside him.
Row 5 going to be Drew Carroll and Tim Johnston tonight.
Yeah, going back to 11th, so we'll find Ricky Harden and Woodrow Mahan.
Okay, and then row 7, Evan Sarah, Brian Yazik. There we go.
And then alongside him, I'll find Thomas. It's in row 8. Man, I cannot talk tonight. This is going to be a fun 300 miles. Thomas George and Devin Cannon starting in row 8.
All right, row 9, Derek Paulson and Andrew Jones.
Yeah, and row 10's going to belong to Randy Yoakum and Chris Scala, who, man, Chris, you can have this seat back, and you're sending me like text messages and stuff, man. Should you be driving?
Chris in the car tonight in the Fred J. Moyer car this evening. And then we go back here. We got Josh King and Justin Rodden there in row 11.
And then starting in row 12, Michael Crowbook and Gregory McDougall.
All right, row 13, James Krahula. He has made it tonight. And Travis McQuestion, 26th.
Rick Thompson and Matt Murphy starting in row 14.
All right, and row 15 going to be Rich Jetty, Calvin Filarski.
And then starting back there in 31st position, you'll find Gerald Livingston. Alongside him, Norman Pelter III.
Row 17, John Wilco, Snoop Doggy Don Runkle, and the Zigzag Double-Ot, 34th.
And then to round out your field, you're going to have Billy Tungate and Stephen Herring. So 36 cars out there, and I believe everybody except Billy Tungate is actually in the server.
Well, here we go. You wanted excitement. You wanted a full field. You wanted a nice big racetrack to do it at. Well, folks, you've got it. Here we are at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As the cars parade around this track, we will cut them loose out of turn 4. The Ford Mustang pace car will drive its way down that very, very long pit road, which we do expect to see green flags on. Adam, real quick, who do you like?
I just think that Jeff Ward just seems like he's got this place figured out. The more green flag racing you see, the more you're going to get away with it. Yes.
And folks, I know we're experiencing some technical difficulties regarding our audio. We are addressing that and working with it. And hopefully everything will be back to normal here real soon. Just bear with us. We'll get you the pictures here. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Ready to fire them up. They come off 2 by 2 out of 4. Pace cars in. Jeff Ward on the hammer. It is green, and we're away. Nick Cohan settling in right behind. Rhett McBride up to the top with him, following. Ward takes it up there and then gets it back down to the bottom as they scream through turn 1.
Seems like everybody gets through turn 1 okay, but they are definitely fighting for position right now from about 3rd place on back. You got a couple of cars trying to get around the outside right now, one of those being Rick McBride. You see him back there right alongside Paul Pepper fighting for 4th and 5th right now.
The Northern Beard Company Chevy is digging down there below Rhett McBride. That Steel Horse Racing machine looking to maybe makes it to work, and he backed out of it real quick there, Rhett did. Tommy Ryan making a move. Looks like just off the bumper of Rhett McBride. Good job here, Adam. Jeff Ward still making his way around here. Still the leader. Trying to complete our first lap around. Oh, did we have a little bit of trouble out there? Don Runkle apologizing, coming over the radio. Don't think so.
Yeah, these guys right now starting to get single file, though, for the most part here. You got to go back all the way to about 12th and 13th position. Thomas George taking a look on the inside here. It looks like Devin Sarah. That's right now your closest fight for position. As they're running side by side, a few inches apart of each other, going about 206 miles an hour going down that front straightaway.
Really, really a strong start for Ward and Cohan. Should anybody be surprised? But man, they are really line astern back through the field right now. Looks like maybe the 87 of Drew Carroll looking to make a move on Troy Haight, but now he's going to settle in, let off just a bit as he follows him into the turn. The field coming through turns 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, these guys still pretty clean for the most part. It got a little crazy going toward the back of the pack at the start. There's a couple of guys that took EOLs that were kind of quick, started trying to make their way up through some of the slower traffic. But as things have settled out, now you're looking here at Paul Pepper and Rick McBride running nose to tail. As things have kind of settled out, it's doing a little bit more side-by-side, or excuse me, single-file racing, and allows us to really focus on the battles, though, too. And of course, as I say that, I think literally everybody on the track went side by side. Doesn't that figure?
Yeah, it always does.
I mean, nose to tail, you know, yeah. Single file. You know what I mean? I can't even talk right. This is gonna be awesome.
Now, I know Scott Eckert started up front. Not exactly sure, but he was given an EOL to start this race, as was James Krahula. Not exactly sure on the detail on those, but we'll check into that. They may have said something, I may have missed it. But look for both of those drivers to start picking up positions. In fact, Eckridge already finds himself up to 26th already off the start.
Yeah, and Eckridge is one of those guys that really had to navigate some slower traffic back there. For some reason, wanted to take an EOL. But everybody's back there kind of, just picking people off right now is what he's doing, just one at a time.
Yeah, and you know what? This is, as we've said, this is a long race, so plenty of time to do that. Of course, the pit stops can be your friend. There's definitely a lot of time to be made up there. In fact, you might see drivers. You might see drivers at some point tonight just take a couple. There we go. Battle for second. Oh, Nick Cohan dropped out from second position there.
Yeah, he just blinked out, and I have not seen him come back to the server here.
Yeah, neither have I. Oh, that's not good for Nick.
His network parameters right now do not look good. That would be unfortunate for him, especially in a tight points battle right now at Brian Yazik.
Absolutely. Wow, and he has not come back on my screen yet either, so right now we just got to assume his problems won't be fixed anytime soon. Jeff Ward still really turning in tremendous laps. Got a nice, almost 2-second lead on Rhett McBride now.
Not only has he got a 2-second lead, he's running about 0.2 of a lap faster than the new second place Rhett McBride. And he's just setting sail right now. Now, we'll have to see as he gets closer to the end of the run. Is he going to start burning off tires or stuff like that? But right now, he's looking about as golden as I thought he would.
Yeah, this is a good start for him. And listen, again, Jeff got a lot on the line. A sweep here at Indy would be great, but listen, there are a lot of drivers behind him still with plenty of work to do. Thomas George sitting back there in ninth, already up 6 spots There's Brian Yazik already in the top 10. So the collar going to get a little tight here. But as we get around this track, we've already got 8 laps in, working on lap 8 now. I'd say we're off to a much better start than anyone could have expected. Well, let's face it, we'll start talking about strategy where I was going before. I would not be surprised if we see drivers maybe gamble with a couple of tires on these pit stops tonight.
Well, and if you're going to see people try it, you're probably going to see them try it here in the first, pit cycle or so. What I really think will happen is if we see people experiment will be, of course, if we do happen to get an early yellow. But so far, been a pretty clean race out there.
Oh,
and commentator's curse.
Oh, Gerald Livingston in trouble. Let's try and catch it on the replay here. Looks like Livingston got that white line down the top. Just threw the car right up across the track, and he comes across. I think he collected Rich Jetty, I know, was one of the cars. All right, we're back live. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300 here with the Premier Racing League Patriot Fire Cup Series, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome back, race fans. Coming out of the yellow, Adam, we had a little bit of action there. Pit road was busy.
Yeah, it really was. I think we got it on replay here. Woodrow Mahan and Devin Serra actually getting into it. Now, pit road at Indy's kind of notorious for being narrow, especially in these big stock cars. And Devin Serra and Woodrow Mahan made it even a little bit more narrow as Devin Serra came across Woodrow Mahan's nose there, did some pretty significant damage to both vehicles. Devin Serra is back out there and circling, but Woodrow Mahan is still on pit road. I don't believe Devin Serra lost a lap out of it, but still some pretty significant damage. You can still see a little bit of damage on Devin Serra's front end.
All right, now we go back live. I expect here this time by, we'll probably put the lights out on the pace car. We'll get them lined back up side by side. That's one of the disadvantages of being here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is these caution flags do take just a bit to complete. But as I said, I do expect those lights are going on in the pace car, and we should be getting back to racing after this lap here. And that is indeed the case. So where are we? Well, we got 11 really good laps of racing in there, and we got a caution flag, and Jeff Ward and Paul Pepper find themselves up front. Pepper up 3 spots. Tommy Ryan and Tim Johnston moving up already through the field. Row 2 and then row 3 to restart this race. It'll be Rhett McBride and Tyler Dalton. Both of those drivers going in opposite directions. Ty up a couple spots. Rhett back a couple spots right now. And then around out your top 10, it's Ricky Hardin, Drew Carroll, Thomas George, and Brian Yazek. Both of those drivers coming in from the top 20 now down to the top 10, Adam, to restart this race.
Yeah, you know, and interesting to know here, Jeff Ward, he's going to go and try the outside here on this restart. And I guess he just wants to see what will happen with it before you get to the later stages of this race. So I'm pretty interested to see what will happen here, too.
Adam, a lot of people watching tonight, a lot of people in chat. We welcome everybody aboard. I'm excited to get this restarted. We got off to a great start. Let's see if we can go another 10 to 20 laps here. Who knows? Maybe to the checkers. We'll see. They're going to come out of Ford Mustang pace car. Gets them around here at 60 miles an hour. Not very fast when you consider they're doing over 200 miles an hour into the turns. The Mustang peels off. Jeff Ford got on it fast last time, and he's going to do it again, already winding up that Chevrolet. Big start for Jeff Ford. Paul Peppers not sleeping on that loud Puddle Motorsports driver. Hot on his tail. Here comes Tim Johnson away in third. Ryan settles into fourth. Rhett McBride all over him back there. McBride going to come alongside. Out of turn 2. Keep it off the wall. Nice exit there by Rhett McBride. Already up ahead of them. Johnston looking to the inside of Paul Pepper. Down the back stretch they go.
Yeah, and just about everybody has been able to get through the first 3/4 of a lap here, heading into turn 3, going down the short chute, going in for Jeff Ward, redisplaying what his dominance was, as Tim Johnston now going to settle into second place with Paul Pepper right behind him. Paul Pepper will probably be the next one to get a little bit of heat here, is Tommy Ryan right on his rear bumper. Tommy, I think he's going to go ahead and stay right where he's at here going through. He's not even going to try to take a look, but he's also still got to worry about the likes of Rhett McBride back there, who we've already seen Rhett McBride be able to run side by side with some guys.
Yeah, I've always thought that the way to get around this track with any speed, if you're in traffic, is to plant that right front of your car just down below the left rear of your opponent's car when you're following there, to try and keep that downforce on the right front. It really seems to help with the grip and really give you good exit off. Tommy Ryan may be losing a little bit of that now as he's lost a little bit of ground to Paul Pepper.
Yeah, you know, and you're starting to see things start to spread out once again. The exception, Tim Johnston just kind of pulled over to the right there. I think he's going to let Paul Pepper go right by him here. Maybe Tim Johnston just kind of had a bad exit there off of 4. Not exactly sure at the time. I wasn't riding with him at that point. But needless to say, Paul Pepper back to second place with Tim Johnston now back in third.
Should we give a Scott Eckrich update real quick? Eckrich just picks off another spot. The ready-to-frag Ford, the number 70, flying around this track right now. He's just picked off Norman Pelletier, and he's about to do the same with Travis McQuistion, getting to the inside of that Woodchuck hard side of Toyota. They come across the line, come out of turn 4. It's going to be Scott Eckrich picking up another position now, up to 19th.
Woodchuck cider. That sounds good right now. But Scott Eckrich, one thing to note about Scott there is he actually had to come to a complete stop on pit road when Devin Serra came back across. So he actually lost quite a bit of ground on pit road, so he's gaining that back. Now on the screen, Chris Scala out there right now trying to do a little bit of something. He's in a pack there with Gregory McDougall and also Rick Thompson back there as well.
Yeah, my buddy Chris there looked to be struggling just a little bit there in the middle. Was able to let Gregory McDougall and Devin Cannon get by Chris, hanging it down there on the bottom. Here comes Rick Thompson in a number 76 American Pool Supply Ford. Ooh, Thompson almost gets the rear end of Devin Cannon there as he comes by. Thompson still looking down there on the bottom of the track as they come up the front straightaway and across the line. This is going to be a drag to the line, and boy, Scala's still going to hold that 14th spot, but not for long as he gets side by side with Rick Thompson again.
Yeah, and I think Chris didn't exactly know that Rick Thompson had gotten his nose that far. He actually brushes the wall just a little bit there going through the short chute. We'll see if it costs me time. And he's trying to use that little bit of almost side draft there, trying to come through corner 2. Is able to get a good run going down the backstretch, and it looks like he'll take sole possession there of 14th position. And behind him, that kind of slowed Devin Cannon up. Now Devin Cannon's going to be hung on the outside here for a little bit and allow Scott Eckrich to get around him. And you also got Michael Probuk back there now getting around him as well.
Here comes James Krahula, the number 4. He started in the back, took an EOL. Here he is now up to 16th. Krahula is moving, and guess who he's bringing with him? Scott Eckrich right behind him there.
Yeah, no surprise there. But now Chris Scala now at the lead in this little bit of a pack here. Of course, Chris stepping down to drive here tonight, and has a pretty good run. I think I was listening to you there a few minutes ago there, Sean, because he did exactly what you were talking about as far as trying to keep that downforce there on the right front. And now he got himself up in front of this little pack here for his trouble.
Yeah, and that's the other place you want to be is if you're not stuck in traffic, give me some clean air to drive in. And Scala trying to take advantage of that now, but it might be game over here in a moment because here comes Krahula on the march. Going to close him down here up the front stretch. You see that gap start to narrow.
Yeah, Krahula had a really big run there going down the back stretch. We'll see if he's able to set that up again here coming out of 2. But James' car is definitely handling pretty well for him. I actually think he's one of the faster cars out there on track at the moment.
James Krahula, definitely one of those guys who could see maybe play a little bit of strategy, hopping back up front.
In case you're wondering, yes, they were bump drafting just a little bit between James Krahula and Scott Eckrich.
Yeah, I'm looking to hop back up front, and I look on the screen, and whoa!
Car on the wall. Norman Pelletier just slammed the wall there on the outside.
Oh boy, he tried to knock it down, didn't he? Did he get a little help?
No, I think he just ended up getting stuck out there. Now caution on the speedway. And he's kind of the result of the kind of after effect of all that. So yeah. Here with Norman, go on back to Josh King right here on the replay. You'll see him kind of come down a little bit, and Josh goes down even further, gets a little out of shape, and somebody else helped him the rest of the way around. I didn't quite catch who that was.
It was Derek. Yeah, it was Derek Paulson. And no fault to Derek. He had nowhere to go right there. That's the orange and yellow car you see right there. and Josh down there on the bottom, and Derek just had nowhere to go. He had traffic all around him.
Yeah,
Tough luck.
And if you look, Josh King's car got a little out of shape when he was coming up on the slower cars, including Norman, that had just brushed the wall a little bit, and went down, hit the apron, and was just trying to gather it up. And you're right, Derek just didn't have anywhere to go on that one, and ended up collecting a few cars, including Josh King. Randy Yoakum was involved in that one. Also, Devin Cannon. Devin actually got into the inside wall pretty good there.
Yeah, boy, we get another caution and just about 10 laps. Just about another 10-lap run. Fell a little bit short there. I hope this isn't the way we go tonight. 10 laps at a time, going to make it a long night for these drivers. But the racing on track's actually been pretty good. We've seen some overtaking, but still really early in this race. We just got under 100 laps remaining. What are your early impressions here, Adam?
Somebody, you're going to, well, I shouldn't say somebody. I mean, if everybody else in this field is going to have to hope Jeff Ward makes some sort of mistake at some point in this race, whether it be on pit road, whether it be, going a little hot into a corner or something. I mean, I don't want to wish bad luck on anybody, but Jeff Ward right now is showing all the signs that if he can stay out front, he's going to run away with this thing.
It does just seem to be the car that's hooked up right now. But, again, I can't help but to hold out hope for a few other drivers in this field as pit lane getting very, very busy again. Everybody can come back down. I will say,
Sean, that if you wanted to try 2 tires and see how it felt after 10 laps, this is the pit stop to do it. See what happens.
Yeah, early is fine. It's a good time to experiment. Let's see if any of these drivers do. Again, pit lane becoming a very, very busy place right now with, again, just about another 11 laps on those tires and that fuel. Why not bring it down and see a couple of cars already just going 2 tires, taking right sides only. It's a couple of cars towards the back of the field trying to make up a few spots.
Well, of course, Jeff Ward, though, still getting off up front. And, I think this time, at the very least, I don't think we had any incidents on pit road.
Yeah, we got away from that clean. It looks like just about all the front runners, though, all the front runners decided to go with the 4 tires and fuel here. So not many takers. Like I said, at the back of the pack, we had a couple, but not many takers. Not any takers up here in the front. Everybody deciding to just top off and take the 4 fresh ones again.
And that could be key, especially if we do end up in a fuel mileage race, having just that extra little bit might help, and it's this thing's far from over. I mean, you mentioned it's still young. I mean, this is our second caution here, but this thing will break out into some green flag racing eventually.
Well, and I think, we get into a window here based on what we kind of thought our fuel consumption was. You get into a window here where possibly, with some more help with caution flags, track position being so important, you might be able to complete this race in 2 more pit stops. And if that's the case, then, well, let's face it, you're probably sitting in pretty good shape if that's your strategy. But we'll see. This is all going to play out. It's all going to be very strategic. I think, though, maybe here for the moment, though, we can take a quick break, and we'll be back with you here in just a moment on the Global Sim Racing Channel here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome back to the Premier Racing League here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight. 300 miles, 120 laps of action. We've completed about 25 of them so far. And Adam, it's been a lot of fun, and we're coming through 3 and 4 now, getting ready to set this up one more time for you here. Pace car.
And this time, Jeff Ward's going to try the bottom instead of the top side. So they're just trying different things at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that it's made much of a difference for him. He's been able to get to a strong start, but he's going to do it here with Tim Johnston just outside of him, Tommy Ryan, Rhett McBride behind. And again, Ward gets on the loud pedal really quick there. Not sleeping Tim Johnston, trying to make it work on the top side. Going to bring Rhett McBride along with him. And those drivers going to stay up there. Tommy Ryan stuck down on the inside there. That's where he wants to be. Ooh,
Tommy Ryan get a little loose there. That was a little bit of a moment.
Rhett McBride watching very, very closely. Back there, the 87 is Drew Carroll trying to make a move already. It looks like Yazik. Yazik tries to shoot the gap. He's got to get on the binders. That car all over the place.
See Yazik there on your screen. Underneath him right now, Thomas George trying to take that spot away after he washed up high like that. But great job on Brian Yazik being able to pull that car back down into the racing line. And nobody makes contact. Everybody is able to keep going, although a few guys lost some positions and a few guys gained some thanks to all that.
Yeah, and it's getting exciting back here through the field. Yazik still struggling back there. Oh, almost 3 wide. Rick Thompson down there at the bottom. Gregory McDougall following. Yazik now brings it back down in front of Thompson. A little scary here early on this restart. Back up ahead of them, big gaggle of cars. They're all led by Tyler Dalton right now. Dalton holding on to that 5th spot. Paul Pepper, Tim Johnson, Scott Eckridge. Yes, Scott Eckridge still digging, making his way back up through the field.
Yeah, one guy that lost several positions in that last lap was Gregory McDougall there, the second. And it seems like he's finally able to keep things, get things back going straight. But just, I guess, a combination between getting loose in one corner and just kind of getting stuck on the high side after that caused him to fall back. I believe he was sitting in 11th or 12th the last time by. Dropped back as far as 16th position. But now starting to crawl his way back here already. Just an idea of just how fast things can change here at Indianapolis.
Changing indeed.
Whoa. Stay on him here. Rick Thompson gets really loose. Big wreck coming out of 4.
Wow. Yeah. And, boy, I'm telling you, it not good. Rick was losing it, and the 1 was behind him there. Man, bunch of cars get caught up in that coming out of the turn. I saw Snoop Doggy, Don Runkle, Troy Haight. Just a mess down there. The 5 in trouble again. That was Derek Paulson, who was involved in part of that first caution tonight.
And Norman was just commenting in the race chat that we need to ride along with him, and he's right. We get a chance here after we look at it. We should probably ride along with Norman.
Yeah, call it there, Adam, if you see it.
Yeah, it looks like so far at least 8 or 9 cars involved with this. You see the wreck happening in front of him, and just take a look at this. Left, right, and another left just for good measure. And he is clear and good to go. But, man, that was a trip that I don't think he was wanting to take.
No, not at all. And, you know, I know we hadn't talked about it much, but they don't get a fast repair here. You crack up your machine, unfortunately, you're in for a long repair and not even being able to make it back out on track. We've already seen several drivers take it behind the wall here early. Lots of attrition. seeing behind the wall, we've got Joshua King, Randy Yoakum, Steve Herring, Justin Rodden, Woodrow Mahan, Gerald Livingston, all drivers with trouble early on in this race, and all still sit behind the wall.
Yeah, well, that's all of a sudden, it just kind of figured almost another 10 laps though there, Sean.
Rolling with my 10 lap theory here, but big race off the pit road. That was at Devin Cannon fighting with Tyler Dalton coming out of the pit lane. And boy, that was or I'm sorry, it wasn't Devin Cannon, it was Drew Carroll.
Yeah, and I think we can go ahead and call out, bring Brutus out here for the first time tonight.
Woof. Our coastal safety, Auditors, lucky dog, going to go to Nick Cohan. Don't mess with the Cohan in his Toyota Camry. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take another quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We will be right back. exiting turn 2, the Patriot Fire Cup Series gets ready to let them loose. Once again, they're going to open that barn door back up and get them going. But you know what? Things have changed up top after a round of pit stops. It's Rhett McBride now your leader. Paul Pepper up there up front with him. Second row occupied by Thomas Jord and Jeff Ward. Drew Carroll and Tommy Ryan found themselves back on row 3 to restart this race. Tim Johnston, Tyler Dalton on row 4. Ricky Harden and Scott Eckridge will start in row 5. What happened to our leader?
Gambling. That's what happened. Got a lot of guys up here that took 2. Now's the time to see what will happen if you need to gamble at the end of this race, I think. Good test here.
Yeah, I think so. Now, I have no doubt that Jeff Ward will be able to get back up there, but going to have a little work to do as we get started. Rhett McBride gets on the hammer quick. It's Paul Pepper caught sleeping there just a bit. Paul Pepper going to slide in right behind him. Down the inside, there comes Thomas George up 11 spots already. He's side by side with Jeff Ward, who's putting the power down out of turn 1. Oh, going to get right up there next to the wall. So close. Oh, man, Thomas George going to be very, very careful with those left side tires. Got them all the way down to the white line. Already got a move for the lead up front. Paul Pepper looking to the inside of Rhett McBride as they head down the back straight into turn 3.
I just want to say that if your goal is to try to separate yourself from Jeff Ward early, probably running side by side right now for 1 and 2 is not the way to do it when he's hunting you down in 3rd. He's going to be right there here just any second. In fact, I have a feeling he might be able to get Rhett McBride here going into 1. As you see now, he takes a good long look on the inside. Thinks better of it, actually, does as he goes back up here. But no, he's going to go ahead and take him going to 1.
Oh, Rhett McBride goes defensive, but it doesn't work. Jeff Ward able to slip it in there. Now McBride gets a little bit better exit there off of turn 1. Down to turn 2. They barrel through here. Exit off of this turn, really, really tricky. Don't want to run it too far out to the right and then get that wall. Oh, man. Tyler Dalton back there communicating with the driver right behind him. Scott Eckridge looking to get by. Eckridge does pull that position off. Thomas George up here, the number 24. The driver caught outside right now. Tim Johnston down on the inside. He's got a nose in as they head off of turn 4.
You know, looking at these lap times from before the pit stop here already, since before the caution, you know, Paul Pepper, and then they had about 3 green flag laps before that caution, and they really didn't gain too much by just coming in for 2 tires. So, you know, but they didn't lose anything either. And sometimes when you take just 2 tires, even if it's only a couple laps old, it has a tendency to change the handling of the car. But they seem to be okay at the moment.
All right, we got a big tussle up here. The top 3. That's Jeff Ward in 3rd, Rhett McBride. All right, he's the man in the middle right now. Paul Pepper getting through the turn. The Canadian coming out of 4. Comes barreling down the front stretch, and McBride tries to go defensive again on Jeff Ward.
I think Rhett McBride brushed the wall there coming out of 4, just ever so slightly.
Yeah, I thought he went defensive, but if he clipped that wall, that's probably what caused that car to jerk to the left like it did. But I'll tell you what, caused him some momentum, and Jeff Ward able to get around, pull that position off. Now he's gone to work on Paul Pepper. Ward looking to get this lead back. Oh, it looks like Rhett's still struggling back there. Drew Carroll going to get around him now. The clip in the apex. Ford Fusion gets around Rhett McBride. Carroll showing some strength here early on. He's done nothing but pick up positions since we got this race started. Rhett McBride's got to be careful.
Not only has he picked up positions, he's managed to stay out of some of the trouble that we've seen in the back half of this field here today. So, Scott Eckridge having himself a heck of a good run.
We're back up front. Paul Pepper right now seems to be really glued to the track there in his Chevrolet. Ward not finding enough speed down the straight to get to him to pull off a move yet. This could be planned by design. Ward could just be beeping patient at this point. We are still not really that close to the halfway point. Now, if this thing stays green, honestly, you can get to the halfway point on the fuel you have in your tank. So right now, Ward's sitting in actually a good spot as long as he doesn't mind riding in that air behind Pepper.
I think he's okay with it. And I was just beginning to think about it before you mentioned something. I wonder if he's just saving fuel right now. Just kind of looking at how he's running and when he's getting it on and off the gas and everything else. He's just finding himself in a good spot to save a little bit now. Maybe he won't have to save as much later if we end up getting the really long green flag run here.
Well, he was the fastest car on the track that last time around, Jeff Ward was. And again, I think this finds himself in a comfortable spot right now. It seems like Paul Pepper's got pretty good pace, and Ward's happy to follow him. So that means, where do we go? Well, we go back through the field, and Devin Cannon, Matt Murphy, Derek Paulson having a fight there inside the top 20 for 17th right now.
And actually, going up a little bit further than that, Tyler Dalton just made a great move to get around Tim Johnston to swap 9th and 10th positions. Not only did Dalton get around him, he started putting pace on him here pretty quick, and caution.
Oh, boy. Devin, Sarah, it looked like teammates getting together there. Devin, Sarah, Chris Scala, both of the Fred J. Moyer cars having trouble there in the turn just behind Brian Yazik. See Yazik at a 55 just in front of him. And boy, and then there's carnage right after that.
Yeah.
Cars trying to get around and get through there. Uh-oh. Yeah, boy. Devin Cannon gets turned around, and Derek Paulson involved again. Geez, Paulson just seems to be a magnet. Oh, Calvin Filarski got that too. Got the very tail end of that. The number 28 gets front end damage on his car. Wow. Bunch of cars get tangled up in that. Two started it. It seems that about 6 got involved all total. Scala just looked like he was sliding up the turn there. This track may be starting to get a little rough. I mean, it is 93 degrees on track and a lack of grip. 93 degrees, that could be an issue.
It can, and especially when it comes time that you have to jump on the brakes in some of these hot tires and hot track and everything else. And you have a tendency to slide a little bit more. And I think you just saw that with David Cannon there kind of getting collected even after the main accident in front of him had kind of stopped.
Yeah, Chris Scala was having a pretty good run. Of course, stepping out of the booth tonight and into the car for Brett Bucari and that number 37 Fred J. Moyer Chevrolet.
Well, these guys are probably still all, for the most part, going to go ahead and come in. One guy that's going to stay out, looks like we're going to have Thompson here. We're going to give him your lucky dog. So bring on back out Brutus.
Time to let Brutus out for a run around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brutus, it's all yours. Time for another Coastal Safety Auditors Lucky Dog, your one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment. Thank you for your service, Brutus. Lots of cars.
Tell you what, that Rick Thompson car, though, it definitely looks a little worse for the wear right now.
Yeah, little surprised that we've got so many bent up cars here coming off the pit lane tonight. I thought we'd be running forever and running green, to be honest with you, but boy, I think I might have jinxed this, Adam, because we are really right now on that 10 lap pace for green flags.
Yeah, we are, and it's right on schedule. So, we were talking earlier, it's just because I have something to do after the race tonight. And that's what it really is. And But something's in the water for these guys here tonight. Now, when we get back going green here, your front row, though, coming up here in a few minutes, is going to be Paul Pepper, but starting along the outside of him is going to be Jeff Ward. I think that'll be the sign of whether Jeff Ward's kind of comfortable riding behind Paul Pepper. We'll see what kind of restart Jeff Ward gets coming up here, and if he lays off of him just a little bit.
Well, Jeff, he's already experimented with both the inside and outside to start this race. So I think he's ready to take whatever Paul Pepper gives him, but I would look for Jeff Ward to be very, very aggressive on his start and probably get that position back and ride up front here. As now we will start to close in on the halfway point. We're probably going to restart this lap with about 17 laps to the halfway point and those big bonus points.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and stop talking about long green flag runs and the potential of them. I think that might help out a little bit there too.
Yeah, well, at some point they're going to stop coming into the pit and they're going to stay out here and just keep racing at them. And, well, who knows? That point could be now. But still a ways to go, but a good race so far, just marred by a few cautions here. What do you think's been the cause of the cautions? I mean, can you put your finger on it? I'm trying to do the same.
You're looking at, I think, 3 of the cautions so far have been guys getting too low going into 4. And when you go too low down to 4, you hit those rumple strip kind of things there that separate the asphalt and the grass. It really has a tendency to upset the car. And what we've seen in a couple of these cautions is that guys hit it, get a little bit out of shape, and end up having to check up because they're out of shape. And the guy right behind them, they just simply don't have anywhere to go. It's not really anything that I could say, oh, it's this guy's fault or this guy's fault. It's just a product of maybe just needing to stay a few inches higher going through 4.
And you know we talked early about the differences in the turns. 2 a little bit easier of a turn to manage getting out of. 4 just, it seems to come up really, really quick, and it's where it catches a lot of drivers out there.
Yeah, you have one. Excuse me. You have one there. That was. Your entry's really fast and everything else, and but you're able to kind of just coast through 1, and then you come up on 2, and it's. I'll be honest with you, Sean. 2 at Indy has always been my nemesis, and it doesn't matter if it's stock cars or Indy cars. For whatever reason, 2 is my nemesis, and that's, I think, partly because you go through 3. 3 you slow down a little bit more than I think you do 1, and then 4. I guess I've just seen so many people trash it in 4 through either going too high or going too low that I guess I've just kind of developed a healthy respect for 4. And I always take it just a touch easier than maybe what I should have. But, I mean, it's a tough corner. I believe it's one of the toughest corners in motorsports if you don't respect it.
Well, pace car making its way back around this track with the lights out. Indianapolis Motor Speedway President Joey Chitwood behind the wheel. Going to keep it on all 4 wheels in that pace car this evening. Joey Chitwood, the legendary stunt driver from back in the 60s and 70s, the Joey Chitwood Stunt Show. Don't know if you're familiar with that, Adam, but it's a big traveling show that went from local track to local track all over the United States.
Yeah, and I think you're doing this because we were talking about movies earlier that I had never heard of. But no, I have heard of the Joey Chitwood Show, so there.
One of the cool things they used to do is they used to drive all the way around the track in teams of cars on 2 wheels. Craziest thing you ever wanted to see, man.
The kind of thing you would expect like Humpy Wheeler or something to put on as a pre-race activity at Charlotte nowadays or something.
Maybe I need to do a little research. That whole deal may have started with Humpy Wheeler, to be very, very honest with you. So maybe next week we'll have a follow-up to that as we get restarted here. The Ford pace car got to pull off now, and Paul Pepper going to get him started, but Jeff Ward, Paul's backs him up just a bit. Ward's got
it worked.
binders there. Yeah, it did. Ward had to check up. Wow, look at Rhett
Paul
McBride
Pepper taking the outside line there, too. I think he saw something in it when Jeff Ward did it earlier that he liked.
Wow.
Oh, who is that getting loose back there? Brett McBride somehow hung on to that car coming out of 2. He was every which way but straight.
Oh, and they're really scrambling. Oh, Thomas George really scrambling there. Gets in behind the 87 of Drew Carroll. Carroll went a little defensive.
While that was going on, Jeff Ward back to P1. Oh, contact. Oh,
boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Big. Somehow the rest of those guys stay off each other.
Tim Johnston just barely avoids major carnage there. Gets a little bent up in the process. Tommy Ryan right in front of him. There's Scott Eckers, the 70. You sure you wanted to come back tonight, Scott? He was in that mix. Brian Yazik in that mix. Rhett McBride still back there struggling to get under power. James Carolla getting under right now. Oh, boy, those two really close coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, that almost ended up being a big disaster. I mean, when 3rd and 4th get into each other right in front of the rest of the field, that could have been just that could have been the end of a lot of guys' night. But everybody's able to kind of get away from it. And now Rhett McBride, though, he's going to have some spots to make up there, fighting for 9th and 10th between him and Carolla.
Run away. Jeff Ward absolutely wanted to get away from all that craziness. He does. He's already separated from Paul Pepper about a half a second up the track. Put a second on the rest of the field now. Drew Carroll in 3rd. Thomas George in 4th. Tim Johnston leads everybody else.
And while we're watching this, a minute ago, Andrew Jones, who had been running 15th position, ended up getting into the turn 4 wall as well. So turn 4 now, biting people instead of going low, it's biting people going high.
The track is changing just a bit. And they started this track with 20% use on it this evening. A little something different they're trying here in the Premier Racing League for 2018. Hey, I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't mean to do that to you, buddy. If there's anything wrong with Chris.
I'm not sure if that's an insult or not.
3 wide on screen, coming down the front straight. This
Nick
is
Cohan
crazy.
and Matt Murphy back there. Thankfully, it all sorted out before going in 1. We've seen the kind of calamity that can happen if you try to go 3 wide into 1 in a stock car.
Devin Serra, just the brave one there, the 20. He's already had trouble. He's trying to just survive at this point. In behind Cohan, who right on board with Matt Murphy there. Murphy having a pretty good run in 15th right now, up 13 spots.
And Yazik has just really been on the move here. And now he's getting himself in a position. I guess he got sick of running in 8th for a little bit. Now he's going to go ahead and move up to 7th. But he really chased those guys down in the front part. He's one of the faster cars on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, he is. He's always one of the faster cars on the racetrack. But Yazik, who's had a pretty quiet run up to this point, now finally starting to move just a bit. Everybody turning up the wick a little bit right now, Adam, because we've only got about 12 laps to go to that halfway point.
Yeah, so now you're going to start thinking about points and everything else, because you got to remember you get those bonus points for halfway here this season, and so you're going to be looking at that cutoff, maybe getting a little bit active.
Hey, we actually have somebody in our chat, John Brummett, who mentions that his, I believe it was his granddad and his father helped Joey Chitwood put on some of those shows back in the day.
Oh, that'd have been pretty neat. Hopefully. Oh, Carnival, yellow flag should be coming. Maybe. No, we avoid the yellow, but big incident there between Devin Cannon and Rich Jett.
Okay, so Rich Jetty, I think probably started this, but brings the caution out, though.
Devin Cannon got into the wall hard, and Rich Jetty just had nowhere to go. And then I guess we'll see what happens here. I guess Norman was involved.
Right. That's not what. That's not. It was Chris Scala actually gets down a little bit too low there in the turn. His car bites and goes up the track and gets Norman Pelletier. And Pelletier comes across the track there, and that brings out the yellow. It sent Devin Cannon into a huge spin as Cannon tries to avoid Pelletier right there. And the 83 goes for a wild ride.
And that's one of those ones that, Devin wouldn't have been there if he didn't have that trouble there coming out of one. And that's just kind of like, snowball effect there, unfortunately, for him. And I think that might have been his third incident he's got caught up in here tonight.
Boy, tough night for some of these guys. And look, again, right at almost 10 laps. So I think 10 laps is the number this evening. These guys get really, really nervous around 10 laps and all of a sudden forget what they were doing so right for about 9 laps.
Well, there was a cup race a couple of years back that was like that, but that was because of tires.
Tiregate, the great Tiregate, the NASCAR Tiregate. Yeah, boy, pit lane, very, very busy place tonight. See several cars staying out. Justin Rodden, one of them. I think is Rick Thompson going to be our... Let's keep an eye on these pit stops, and then we'll get to our lucky dog here. Again, very, very busy place. There'll be a big race off the pit lane. Ooh, James
Pepper had a heck of a time getting out of his stall.
Okay, now we've got, as our director said, now we've got some people stepping up to the gambling table. James Gravola, Ricky Harden, Tommy Ryan. Boy, those three gambling. No casinos ever lost any money on them. Nick Cohan, all going with the 2-tire option here. Looks Tyler Dalton might have done the same thing. But real quickly, let's get Brutus out in that Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dog. Got to go to the American Pool Supply Board or Rick Thompson, Speed Mafia driver, Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and safety equipment. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say that Rick Thompson suddenly has a front end again.
Yes. Little help in the pits there. Guy's able to get some work done on the car.
Maybe the Coastal Safety Auditors, maybe they hooked him up with one there. New Fusion front end and grill.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back. We're back on the Global Sim Racing channel with the Premier Racing League Patriot Fire Cup Series. Here tonight with the Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300. Boy, cars are lined up now and back 2x2, getting ready to restart this race. We are really, really close to the halfway point, awarding those bonus points, Adam. We head down the back straight here. It's time to cut them loose once again, but with a different leader and some guys who gambled.
Yeah, all these guys pretty much gambled to get up here and maybe trying to make a play on some bonus points, including the likes of James Grahula and Nick Cohan who's been able to get up there. Those bonus points would be huge for Nick Cohan at this point there, only being a couple points behind Brian Yasick in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and good time to gamble indeed as we get close to that point. The question is, are they going to be able to hold off the field? Boy, it's going to be really, really tough. Will they drop outside the top 10? That's the only area where we're going to award those points. So we'll see. The Ford Mustang pace car getting ready to dive down. Here we go. It's going to be up to James Grahula. He does not waste any time. James Grahula is gone.
James Grahula got a great start. Ricky Hart, not so much. Tommy Wright, right on his back bumper. They are fanning out down the back front stretch, though, in the back of the field. The
Unacceptable Motorsports drivers getting it going. Got several drivers calling for possibility to get a black flag cleared. I wonder if there was maybe a glitch there on the restart. I'm not sure, but already dropping in line of stern, and Nick Cohan back there making a dive down to the bottom. Tyler Dalton follow him. There's Jeff Ward also in that 3.
We don't need to go to it, but just so everybody knows, going down into 1 on that restart, for you Rich Jetty fans, he unfortunately blew his engine. So his day went from bad to worse there. Wow, it certainly did. Jeff Ward comes down behind Tyler Dalton, does it right in front of Thomas George. Boy, that's the second time George has kind of been chopped off there. He's going to get impatient at some point. Now he's side by side with Tyler Dalton as they come through the turn. This short shoot into turn 2. Give it to Thomas George. He's going to get under Ty Dalton. And Ty Dalton now got to defend against Drew Carroll. Here comes Carroll. Paul Pepper back there. Boy, those 2 tires not working out for Tyler Dalton right now. And boy, everybody else falling victim here. Not James Grahula, though. The clean air has helped him on this restart here, Adam. It really has. And now you got Ricky Hardno is losing that spot to Jeff Ward. So now you got Jeff Ward that's back there now in 3rd position. So he could go ahead and try to hunt down Nick Cohan and James Grahula. But James Grahula doing his best to try to run away and get up there. He's only going to hang on to that lead for about 4 more spots, 4 more laps to get the maximum amount of bonus points he can. Well, advantage again. It's his. He's got the clean air in front of him, and boy, this Cup car handles really, really well in clean air. In fact, it's awful hard to catch when you get a little bit of momentum on your opponents. Cohan not reeling him in yet, but Jeff Ward back there probably hopes to team up with Cohan. Cohan showing a little bit better speed there in turn 3. Picks up a little bit on Grahula, and he's picking up a little bit more here out of 4. Cohan seems to be hooked up. Oh, boy, nice exit. Jeff Ward, nice exit off of turn 4. Tell you what, though, the biggest loser, I don't really want to say loser because we all know he's fast, but Ricky Harden, after having dropped back, trying to gamble a little bit, so keeps just dropping back, now falling back to the 6th position. So he is, his tires, I think, are a little bit angry at him right now. And but the bleeding might have stopped here as the guys behind him are getting a little bit racier there with Paul Pepper, Scott Eckridge, and Thomas George in that pack back there, along with Tyler Dalton. Yeah, and Paul Pepper's still trying to pull off this move on Tyler Dalton. Dalton's been strong up top, but he's finally going to lose that momentum with help from Eckridge down there on the bottom, giving Paul Pepper a nice push. Eckridge able to come through, and now here comes Thomas George. Tyler Dalton being just dropped here since that restart. Again, he was another one of those drivers that just took 2. You know, and the best drivers here in Indy, it's really close to Thomas George. Oh, if they didn't make contact there, I think they swapped clear paint at the clear coat there at the very least. No, even the best drivers here, the ones that are somehow or never, I've never been able to figure it out, able to make moves on the outside, will tell you that's not the preferred line. And if you're up there on older tires and the rest of the field, you've really got your work cut out for you. Best that you can hope for right now if you're Tyler Dalton is try to get that thing back to the bottom as soon as you can. But he's having a tough time managing that right now.
Yazik trying to set Dalton up. Man, it's really good. Listen, the championship leaders, your top 10, all littered in the top 10 of this field of this race. The cream certainly rising to the top here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Man, really, really good battles. We're right on, but Brian Yazik still trying to get this move. Tyler Dalton done, but Dalton, I think, is tired of dropping spots, man. I think he's put his foot down and said, you know what? It stops here. If you're going to get this spot, you're going to have to take it from me.
You know, but he's going to have to hold off Yazik here. We're getting ready to get to the halfway point. In fact, I think we're going to hit it here this next lap. And Yazik really could use those bonus points. I mean, because you got Nick Cohan up there that's going to be able to get some good points out of this.
Well, Krahula looking like a genius right now, taking just those 2 tires. Come across. We'll start lap 60 here. He's just got to hold off Nick Cohan here. What a job by Cohan after tumbling through this field, having to get a lucky dog. I think he was 2 laps down at one point. But Krahula...
Scott Eckridge getting a little bit hungrier back there now. He's like, got a good look on the inside of Tommy Ryan as they get ready to head into 3.
Boy, another driver who's really had to come far through this field. You talk about Eckridge there. Even more impressive what Krahula is doing. He finds himself in the lead coming out of 4. He, with the EOL to start this race, now comes out of turn 4. He is going to be your leader here at the halfway point. Bonus points going to him, 10 of them. Your top 10, Krahula, Cohan, Jeff Ward, Drew Carroll, Ricky Harden, Paul Pepper, Scott Eckridge, Tommy Ryan, Thomas George, and Tyler Dalton all come across at the halfway point here. Those 10 will get bonus points. James getting the most of them, 10 points to him. Impressive.
And of course, you think about it, Nick Cohan, he gets what, 9 points out of it? And how many did Brian Yazik get?
Mm-hmm.
So right there, the 36-point lead coming into this race, well, that just got shrunk by 9 points. That's now down to 27, and we obviously still have half this race to go.
And let's not... Oh yeah, now looking Cohan letting him get around there.
I think he got what he wanted out of that whole little run right there.
Question is it Krahula want to say on, hey, let's check in on the Fast 5 drivers. Don't forget, a Fast 5 race this evening. Jeff Ward, Nick Cohan, still big players. Tim Johnston still in this race, big player. Thomas George still very much in this race. And Brian Yazik. All 5 fast drivers tonight are big players. Any one of them could win this race and take home a little bit of cash tonight.
Where's my cash?
Checks in a minute. Checks in a minute. Tommy Ryan still really having an interesting battle here with Tyler Dalton. Dalton, again, one of those drivers that took 2 tires. Tommy, the other one, they both got really good pace right now. Maybe a bit of a co-opetition going on between the two here, but they continue to keep Brian Yazik at bay, who took 4 tires and just can't seem to do anything with him, as we've now got a battle for the lead. Jeff Ward wants that back from James Krahula.
Yeah, Jeff Ward, I think he finally decided to go ahead and turn on the afterburners there, and he wants to get back up to the front and in that clean air.
Yeah, and boy, hard as he may try, Jeff Ward and the Bose Chevrolet not able to do anything with him yet. Corolla pretty strong here. Again, such an advantage with the clean air on the front end of these cars, especially here in Indianapolis. Aero so very, very important. It's the only help you have with grip here. You certainly don't get a lot of it from the track. You're certainly not getting a lot of it from the weather conditions today. Now Ward getting a bit of a run at him here as they come across the start-finish line.
Still having a tough time trying to get around him. He's, he doesn't need to push the issue though. At the same time, and is James Kahula actually not able to track real well coming out of 2? That might give him exactly what he needs. And I think Kahula was just letting him know that he's going to let him by here going into 3.
Yeah, no big deal there. Corolla happy to let him have it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are now on our longest green flag stretch of the day.
Boy, you had to bring that up.
I know.
I was going to stay away from that.
I got to test the water somehow.
I guess. I just wasn't wanting to tempt fate there. Yeah, aren't you going to feel bad if we get one here around the next turn?
Probably. Maybe.
I'm watching Brian Yazik still not able to do anything with Tommy Ryan and Tyler Dalton. Thinking now that he's lost his chance for points there at the halfway point, he's just content with riding. But Tommy Ryan maybe now trying to pick up another spot here. Going to put Tyler Dalton out to the top side. Bring Yazik with him. Going to try to. Yazik keeps it down, keeps it tight. They both pull off the move on Tyler Dalton, drop him down 2 spots. Dalton back to 11th. Yazik now into the top 10. A day late and $1 short.
That's one thing that I was kind of thinking about too, is that over here the last little bit, you look at guys like Tommy Ryan and James Kahula and you think about how well they did right after the start, and it really depended on where you're at in the field. Of course, we talked about the advantage of being up in clean air up at the front of the field. But I think right now, if I'm these guys, I'm already thinking about the end of the race. If we end up getting a couple of cautions, late race cautions, and we going out there, maybe taking 2 tires on, say, 5 or 6 lap old tires, I think that could be a viable thing if you can guarantee that you're going to be on the front row alongside somebody that did the same thing.
Yes, and you've also got to think about the window that you've got to make those 2 tires hold up on. Okay, Corolla was able to do that for what, about 7-8 laps until he finally had to give up the ghost. Maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe about 10 laps he got out of that. He was able to keep him off, but only because he was up to the clean air. So,
and I'm not sure Jeff Ward was really pushing the issue. I mean, if it was 10 laps to go, it might have been a different story there.
Maybe so. But the gamble paid off for Corolla. But yeah, you're going to definitely have to consider your window there as to how many laps you got to try to make that survive under. If you're talking about the last 20 laps of the race, I don't know that 2 tires are going to do you any good. If you're talking about the last 7 laps of the race, well, then maybe that gamble pays off for you, as it did for Corolla. But you saw the 87 of Drew Carroll getting by on your screen. He's following, tagged along with Nick Cohan right now. Still a great battle. Carroll up 5 spots now to 4th. Nick Cohan still having a strong run after, again, early trouble. Cohan lets him go by. Drew Carroll going to take that position up to 3rd. Now we're seeing them run. Now they're getting out of here, running, putting some green flag laps in. A lot of attrition through the field. Battle for 10th or for 9th spot here. Is it Yazik and Tommy Ryan going at it? There's Tyler Dalton in the mix. Ryan there in the number 6. Dalton in the 19. Got Ricky Harden just up in front of them in the 15. Yazik just riding, man. Just riding. Keeping it clean. keeping himself near the front in striking distance. Back to 11th again, though. Got a car coming off pit road. That's Justin Rodden, falling back to 25th spot. Don't know if he had any trouble.
Justin Rodden's been down there. I think he's been repairing damage. I think he's just coming back on the track after one of those incidents.
Yeah, probably just getting a little bit of damage repair at a time. They must have had heavy damage on that car. It's the Stroke Race fans out there. That's the Clyde Torkel's Chicken Pit Pluck Chicken car. It's the fastest chicken in the South. Sponsor made us say it. Hopefully Justin can finish this
Paul
thing.
Pepper's coming in.
Ah, Pepper making a move.
Yazek.
Okay. Several drivers. Devin Serra, Chris Scala.
I have to think that maybe they're seeing the writing on the wall. Could they be starting to try to play this race backwards?
Definitely a point in the race where you want to do that. Don't think they've got near enough to make it to the end, but get about 10, 15 more laps of green, and if you get a caution flag, you could maybe get this done with one quick stop. Interesting. They're going to be really off pace now. The pit deltas a little bit quicker than a full lap around here, so they'll get out. In fact, Chris Scala coming out now. Scala was just hanging on to the end of the lead lap. His teammate, Devin Serra, right behind him. They've got Scott Eckridge coming around them right now. Eckridge in 5th. Serra, Scala slot out to 22nd and 21st. Well, you see the difference in the tires here is Devin Serra gets quite a run, and Scott Eckridge, who we know is really, really fast. James Grahula coming to the pit. Okay. Yeah, now we're definitely... So, Tommy Ryan with big
Caution!
trouble.
Oh, this changes things. Tommy Ryan.
Tommy was trying to get into the pit, trying to get slowed down. He locks the brakes up on entry. Car slides around past the cone into the racing line.
He came to a stop just long enough to initiate the caution.
Yep. Uh-oh. So, man, that does change things just a bit, doesn't it? Wow.
You know who's going to take advantage of this? Brian Yazek just came down pit road. He's not going to have to pit on this one. Paul Pepper just came down pit road. You know, Krahula was just down there. You're going to have you're basically flip-flopping the field, I think, at this point now.
I think so.
Is it time for a Brian Yazek outhouse to the penthouse joke yet? Or should we wait till the green flag?
I'll let you handle the outhouse jokes. Well, this is just...
Those aren't any fun if I've got to keep it G-rated.
So, got a caution here. Come across the stripe, there'll be 46 laps to go in this race. You can't make it from here.
I want to say, who was it? Chris Scala that got the lucky dog on that one? Okay.
Yeah, he should get it. I think we can go ahead and do that now.
There he goes.
The leaders are going to come in, and Chris Scala going to be your Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dog. The Captain Motorsports driver, also lead broadcaster here for the Patriot Fire Cup Series. Going to get your Coastal Safety Auditors Lucky Dog now. Pull around the pace car, enjoy that. Take a run with Brutus. Coastal Safety Auditors, your fire, life, one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment. Coastal Safety Auditors. All right. So, I don't think we're saying anything too obvious here by saying Paul Pepper, Brian Yazik, James Carula, and Tyler Dalton, who did just come in the pit, are staying out. Everybody else decides to come in now. The fight off the pit road you're watching here. Oh, Cannon just getting out there. Good battle off. Looks like Jeff Ward is going to win that, though. Nick Cohan right behind him. They will be your third row to start this race. Pepper and Yazik going to get it started, though. Brian Yazik, finally going to get himself to the front of this field. Could it be over for the rest of these guys now if he gets clean air at him?
I don't know if it'd be over, but it all depends now on green flag runs.
Yeah, it really does. Let's take a quick break. We'll reshuffle here, get everybody set, grab a drink of water. We'll be right back here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Just a moment. Welcome back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, back from another break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, our Indiana home. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the Patriot Fire Cup Series here, the Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300. We're getting ready to cut them loose again. Paul Pepper, Brian Yazik at the front of the field this time. Tyler Dalton, James Carula slotting in right behind him. Now, the difference in tires, a little bit different strategy. Remember, they came in early just before that caution flag came out. Everybody else behind them, this front four fighting on 4 fresh tires and full fuel. It's going to be up to Yazik here to set the field. I'm sorry, Paul Pepper going to choose to start from the outside. Let's see what Pepper does. The pace car is off. And Pepper gets right on it. Yazik almost falls asleep a little bit on that. Not very quick on the uptick there. It seems to be okay, though, because nobody else got going either. Tyler Dalton keeps it close.
I'll be nice to Yazik. I didn't feel like he was really sleeping any more than anybody else had. I just think that the restart leader here in Indy today just has a huge advantage in and amongst himself. Every single person that's restarted this race has been able to just get a great jump. You see him fan out there going down the backstretch.
Yeah, a bunch of them fanning out here a little bit further back in the field. You see Chris Scala there fighting with Rick Thompson. They're side by side, and just behind them, Callum Flarsky, Andrew Jones. They're mixing it up. That little group there, a little dangerous right now. The 83 of Devin Cannon, Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan stuck back there in that.
I think it's about as far back as Jeff Ward has been all day, running in 5th, just ahead of these guys here. Oh, whoa, that was close. I think Drew Carroll almost thought about making it 3 wide back there going into 2 of all places.
And then he has to get out of it, and checking up behind him was Ricky Harden. Close moment for the number 15 Chevrolet. Now he's found the bumper of Drew Carroll. Going to ride with him there. On board with Ricky. North Star Chevrolet SS on point this evening. Ricky trying to get back up front. Oh, battle for second. It's going now. Yazik under threat from James Carula. Where'd he come from? Whoa. James with a great run there. Pulls off that and gets up to second. Oh, boy. Jeff Ward almost gets that car on the wall. Now Ward comes back across the track, and he's going to make a move down below Yazik. Oh, wow. Ward going to take that spot. Now Ward up to the top 3.
Hey, good run. Ward's got this place figured out. You go right behind him, though. Nick Cohan making a move there, be able to get around Tyler Dalton. And then Scott Eckridge is going to go ahead and try to follow in his footsteps there. Now running alongside Tyler Dalton, going down the front straightaway. We'll see what kind of advantage he gets here going down into 1. Scott Eckridge looking a little wiggly. Wiggly, is wiggly a word? Wiggly going down into 1 and through 1, but he's able to pull ahead there at Tyler Dalton.
Boy, and he had those left tires right down on the stripe down there in the danger zone, but he's able to hang on to it. On board with Thomas George, right behind Tyler Dalton.
It's like you say danger zone, and I'll admit I've had Archer on the head all day, so it's like danger zone. I know there's some Archer fans out there. You got to check out what they did with Kingsman. They did release an animated short with the Kingsman guy, and Archer shows up in it, of all people. It's just hilarious. They released that today. You got to check it out.
I will definitely, as I am a fan. Fortunately, we don't have any phrasing problems here on GSRC. But
are we still doing that?
Yes, we're still doing phrasing. Yes, always. Oh man, you know what? The top 3 right now. Carula in the mix. Paul Pepper. What a night for James Carula. This has been an up and down affair for him, but right now it finds him up probably finds him up at the best time of the race. We are now under 40 laps to go. This race will be a memory soon, Adam. And James Krahula out here making some special memories for himself. I don't want to jinx the guy. I know he's had some issues over the past several days with his connection there. Doesn't seem to have been an issue at all tonight. Good battle, though, going on. And you see Jeff Ward trying to get around. James got a little defensive, now getting a run up on Paul Pepper.
I think Krahula was thinking of trying to make a move on Paul Pepper at the same time that Ward was thinking of making a move on Krahula. That almost could have been interesting to say the least. And instead, Krahula is be the one to back up. Paul Pepper's going to go a little bit defensive here for the lead. And all the way down, snaking down, Krahula's going to still keep his inside look, but will he back out of it? Oh, no, he's going to keep it in there. He's got Jeff Ward along the outside of him. Ooh, that's not the thing that Jeff Ward wants to see right now after running the way he's ran.
No, I don't think he wants to fight that hard. I really, really don't. Man, not sure what happened to Calvin Volarsky. I saw he was off in the pit. Something must have happened to Calvin after that restart. He's dropping down the field.
Oh, okay, so he ended up on lap 83, going into 1, ended up drifting a little high, ended up slamming into the short chute wall there and just kept bouncing off the wall and couldn't keep it off it and slid down eventually into the inside wall. So tough break for Kevin Volarsky there.
Yeah, Calvin's going to hate that. That's going to be a tough night, tough points for him here. He'll probably be in the pit for a while. A lot of damage on that car as he continues to lose laps here. And Nick Cohan has reeled in Brian Yazik. Those two starting to look a little racy. Cohan.
Ooh, there we go for the lead. Paul Pepper getting passed by Jeff Ward. Paul Pepper's able to slot right in between him and James Krahula, though. There wasn't much room at all for him to slot in there, but he stuck that Chevy SS in there.
Yeah, and your top three are definitely from the Chevy compound this evening. The Chevy seem to have the power here at Indy. Jeff Ward, though, back up to the front. Paul Pepper, James Krahula. That's your podium right now. It's not a bad one. Not the one we thought we'd have at the beginning of this race when you throw Krahula all the way to the back to start things. Good strategy and a little bit of luck are helping him out right now. He gets a nice run off of 4. Going to look to maybe take this spot away from Paul Pepper. He heads down to the inside as they get across the start-finish line. That yard of bricks into 1. Ooh, Krahula's got to get out of the gas. Pepper closes the door on him there. Still have a lot of cars on the lead lap right now. I think, we got 21. John Wilco at the back of things. 10 seconds away from your leader right now. Ooh,
Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll making a move on Yazik. Trying to bring Thomas George with him.
So the way that Drew Carroll had to just hold that car underneath Yazik there coming out of 4, it actually cost him quite a bit of momentum. I mean, it looked like he just kind of got stopped dead in his tracks compared to what way he was going into Yazik there as he brings out wide, almost clips the wall there with his right rear, but stays clean and now takes position, takes that 6th position.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, the guys really haven't had a lot of experience tonight with going into these longer green flag runs. The car making some changes as you get a little deeper into the run, and you've got to be aware of that, especially when you're driving next to somebody or trying to pull off a pass. Trying to make that pass could come at a great disadvantage to you if you can't do it successfully.
Hey, we're only 3 laps away from the 3/4 mark. Bonus points for 3/4? No.
I'll give you a nickel.
Okay, and I'll take a nickel. That's like a half a bite out of a candy bar nowadays, right?
on board with Eckridge here as he tries to make a move on Paul Pepper.
Yeah, Ricky Hard now underneath Brian Yazik, too, back behind these guys.
Okay, so now here we go. Eckridge pulls off that pass, and you've got James Scrolla and Scott Eckridge both now on the podium as they drive around now. Those two. Oh, Paul Pepper is coming in. Maybe he was thinking about something there.
Yeah, he's thinking about Cohen the rest of the way.
Oh boy, and you know what? Johnston coming in right behind him.
We got a little strategy at play here, boys.
Let's see what they do here when they come down. I expect it's going to be full fuel and 4 tires.
Well, you know, from his position, it's one of those ones you got to do something different than what Jeff Ward is going to do. So why not come in right now?
Well, they're in.
We'll see if anybody else starts following them as far as the leaders here this next time by, as you see Tim Johnston there pulling away as well.
Johnston out with 2 tires. 2 tires, Adam. 2 tires for Tim Johnston. What's he thinking here? Paul Pepper going to get out right behind him. Got to go all the way down this emergency road to get all the way out. Now back out onto the speedway. I'm afraid Paul Pepper a little bit too far back to even think about catching Tim Johnston right now. Johnston already up to full song as he heads into turn 3. He'll be way off pace for the rest of this field. The leaders into turn 3 now.
About 3/4 of a straightaway behind them as we hit the 3/4 mark in the race. Go figure.
I think your math is being debated.
My math is exemplary, sir.
Okay, and I don't know if you got the memo from GSRC headquarters, but we don't do math here, sir. Yeah, Soup and I outlawed math on the air because neither one of us are very good at it. But anyway.
Here comes Tommy Ryan.
Yes, sir. Tommy Ryan coming in. Norm Pelletier is in also. Let's see if any of these drivers flirt with a 2-tire change. I think, boy, I don't know, but I think the 2-tire move, I don't know right here if that's going to really pay dividends for you down the end. Now we're under 30 laps to go. Brett McBride calling for his pit stop. Yeah, everybody else going for those 4 tires right now. Norm Pelletier must have had a problem. He's been, that was a long pit stop.
Brett McBride turns it down pit road. Oh, and he ended up backing it into the pit wall there. It's that insult to injury.
Well, there goes a top 10 run for you, all based on, you know, how you get on and off pit road.
And that's 2 normally, you know, pretty clean guys that end up having trouble getting onto pit road here for today because Tommy Ryan did and now Rhett McBride. I mean, if Rhett McBride had spun around there, 200 feet earlier, that we'd be talking about a caution here during a pit cycle. Jeff Ward's going to go ahead and stay out here another lap. And same with James Kabula. Scott Eckridge now taking sole command of 3rd position with Nick Cohan behind him and Drew Carroll now in 5th. So that's your top 5 as we're up in the middle of this pit cycle.
Carroll, Cohan, door to door. That was scary coming off of turn 2. Drew Carroll going to win that battle for now. Cohan looks to maybe cross him over. Nah, not going to do it this time. Scott Eckridge up just in front of them. You know, our Fast 5 drivers all still in play. One of those Fast 5 drivers can win this evening. They are in for some money. Cash bonus to win tonight's race for a top 5. Or, I'm sorry, for a Fast 5 driver. So Jeff Ward, Nick Cohan, Tim Johnston, Thomas George, and Brian Yazik. Boy, did you see that? Eckridge, big trouble coming off of turn 2. Almost lost it, and he caught it. Oh, Yazik having trouble with his pit stop.
Oh.
Brian Yazik having big trouble down in the pit. That's not going to help his cause. I hate that for him. I was just about to say, you know, it just doesn't seem like Yazik's night tonight. Only one that's going to be happy with that are his competitors. James Carula on the pit lane. Coming with him is Tyler Dalton. Oh, no. Did James Carula... He made a comment. I think he said, nice one, James. Good speeding there. I don't know. We'll see. See how long he takes on the pit road there. I might have misunderstood what he said, but he almost sounded like he gave the indication that he was speeding coming on the pit road. And
yeah, that's tough.
Oh boy, man, mistakes on
Jeff Ward
can't
coming
afford
in.
it. Yep, Jeff Ward coming in from the lead.
Woo! And, yeah, a couple guys, including
Drew Carroll.
Drew Carroll came in really
Carroll's
hot, loops it around.
Carroll. Yep, he loops it around right in front of Nick Cohan.
And Cohan had to slow up too, so that's going to hurt him also here, but really obviously hurt Drew Carroll. Drew Carroll is he's just going to come into a stall backwards here.
He's backing it in.
This is very Days of Thunderish here out of Drew Carroll.
Okay, Carroll's still backing down the pit lane. I mean, I get it, but he just cost himself a lot of time doing that. That's going to end any chance he had of a nice top 10 run. Going to lose a full lap on that deal. Well, that's going to really, really change things up here.
Man, Paul Pepper is... Once everything shakes out here, he's going to be out by a couple seconds over Jeff Ward.
Well, don't ask me how it happened. Oh, I know. I've been watching this race, so have you. Scott Eckridge at the top of the field right now. He's got a little over 4 seconds back to Ricky Harden. Eckridge in control. If he could pull off a flawless pit stop, I think it's going to be really, really tough to beat him today. Let's run down the field here real quick. We just almost have 100 laps in the books here. Scott Eckridge, your leader. Ricky Harden riding in second right now. Andrew Jones having a solid race in the number 59. Finds himself in third.
Oh, another driver having trouble. Well, no, okay. He just ended up on pit road.
Okay.
Ended up in turn 4 wall right in front of Norman Pelletier. I don't know how Norman missed him. And ended up having to go on pit road, get control back in the car.
Now let's watch Matt Murphy here. The 42 smacks it. Oh, and smacks it again on that inside retaining wall. Wow, real lucky we didn't get a caution flag there. He did not come back out on the track surface. Matt's still trying to get off the pit lane now.
Yeah, I think right now the one guy that absolutely does not want to see a caution is Paul Pepper. And that Paul Pepper's best chance right now, I think, is for this thing to go caution-free the rest of the way.
Okay, we've got cars back on the pit lane. Ricky Harden coming in. Andrew Jones is in. These would be the last stops of the race for these drivers. Thomas George is in. Slowing down. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. What's going on with Norman Pelletier? No, he was just like... He was just letting cars by.
Well, I tell you what, Sean, right now with what I'm seeing here, I really think that the earlier you came in, the more of an advantage you might have to pull off some sort of upset here. Now, with that said, Paul Pepper did come in early enough that he does have slightly older tires than Jeff Ward, and Jeff Ward is faster than him by quite a bit, actually. And Jeff Ward's kind of turned on the afterburners, I think, but he could also be potentially burning up his equipment to try to catch back up to Paul Pepper. But Paul Pepper, once the rest of these guys up in front of him, they pit, I think Paul Pepper will take the lead as long as Jeff Ward doesn't get to him first. And now Jeff Ward making that move underneath Tim Johnston and setting course there for Paul Pepper now. And Jeff Ward, let's look at these lap times here real quick. Jeff Ward, 49.7, 49.9, 51, all since his pit stop there. He is just on fire.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a good night indeed. Ward getting by John Wilco. That is for a spot. Wilco has not pit yet. I'm showing Wilco has been in the pits 12 times this evening. But he still finds himself on the lead lap. Tail of the lead lap. Ward, though, continuing to make progress on his assault on Paul Pepper. Now
he gets a real bad exit of one. And Paul right now, the best he can manage the last couple laps is 51s. And you still got Jeff Ward, who is capable of running into the low to mid 50s. Right. So this is probably the part where Jeff Ward starts setting sail.
Now, Jeff Ward currently sits 28.2 seconds behind Scott Eckridge. Maybe Eckridge decides to run it out here, but Eckridge definitely gonna need a pit stop.
Oh, speaking of Scott Eckridge, he just had big contact with Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones just bumped him in the back, and Scott Eckridge just got in the wall pretty hard after.
Wow. Oh, boy. Yeah, and really, Eckridge just gets kind of run over from behind by Andrew Jones, actually. I'm really gonna look at it here on the replay. Jones, faster car just off the pit stop, but he just kind of runs right up on Eckridge, and I don't know, he could have maybe changed his line a little bit and no contact there, but he just runs right into him. There it is here, and great racecraft there by Eckridge to save the car, save what is his lead right now. But boy, that really lets Jeff Ward reel him in.
On the front and back end of that car now.
Yeah, that car was clean too before that. That's very, very unfortunate for Eckridge. That's going to hurt him. Down in the pit lane, Eckridge comes now. Really locks him up coming down there. Car really squirrely.
Oh, I don't think he made the speed limit. I think he's going to get hit for speeding here. Just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, that's...
But hey, look who's going into the lead.
Yeah, that is going to give the Captain Motorsports driver in the Fred J. Moyer Chevrolet, Chris Scala. Scala managing to hang on in this race and now finds himself in the lead. I'm afraid he is going to need to pit that machine, though, before this is over. And Jeff Ward reeling him in only 5 seconds behind. Oh, boy. Scott Eckridge speeds on pit road, and now he is serving that 15-second penalty that James Garola had to serve, and that's going to be the end of his chance for a win. Unless something drastic happens here, that time is just going to hurt his run, period. Scala stays on track for another lap here. Battle for third place. Thomas George, Paul Pepper.
Oh, it's Chris right now. He's like, caution, caution, caution. Come on, give me a caution. Because you figure if there's a caution right now, just about everybody's going to have to come back down pit road.
Well, I don't think Scala can make it on fuel. He's definitely not going to be able to make it on the tires because Jeff Ward is, leaps and bounds. He was 3 seconds.
That's just, wow.
Here comes Cohan. On the inside of Pepper there. He's going to get this. Pull it off. Pepper going to try and cross him over. Nope. Going to sit in that spot. Thomas George next on the list. So where does Scott Eckridge slot back at to on this track? It's going to be 15th. Devin Cannon in the pit now. Eckridge will get up to 14th as he gets by down the front straight. Oh, here comes the pass for the lead. It's going to happen here. It's imminent, as was just used there by our director. Here we go. Making that pass, Jeff Ward.
Was imminent really the right word for it? Maybe inevitable. I mean, props to Chris to still hang on. You know, and if I'm Chris, I mean, I run the thing dry at this point and hope a caution comes out between now and then.
Yeah, he's going to be really, really, really close on the fuel window, but I just don't think he's going to make it. Right now, the caution is his only hope to make it.
Yeah, and that's you know, and that's what I think he needs. If he can get a caution, I really think that everybody would have to come down. And I think for just about all these guys, we're past the point where 2 tires would play a role if we get a quick caution here at the end of the race. So, hey, take your chances. It's a one-off for Chris. Why not?
Scott Eckridge back in the pit. Boy, worked so hard all night and makes a mistake there on pit lane. All right, well, Jeff Ward is now your leader. Scala back to second. Still got about 3 seconds on Nick Cohan, who's in third. Thomas George right there with Cohan in fourth. Little separation back to Paul Pepper, who's holding down fifth by himself right now. Tommy Ryan in sixth. He's battling with Tim Johnston for that spot. Tyler Dalton in eighth by himself right now. Then you got to go back to the battle for 9th and 10th between Brian Yazek and Ricky Harden. Yazek managing to get into the top 10. Krahula, not been much since that pit stop. He's mired down there in 11th. And about 4 seconds between him and Ricky Harden.
And Chris has given up the ghost.
Yeah, well, you know, this definitely a track you do not want to run out of fuel on, obviously. Very long track, very long tow back to the pit. Chris making the wise decision to bring it down and just salvage the best run he can get. Never know, could get a little luck here and maybe a caution flag. We'll see. Scala going to have to be perfect with his approach down the pit lane. We're on board with him. The Fred J. Moyer car coming to a stop there at the cone. I think he was at speed. Now he's going to take that long trip down there. Have to nail his box and get in there precisely. Battle for P6 on screen. Tyler Dalton, Tim Johnston. Intense. Dalton. Okay.
Yeah, you know, and our director just reminded us, Tim took 2 tires He was the only one out of the entire pit cycle that took 2 tires. He's still hanging on there inside the top 10.
Good call. Maybe we'll see it. That a lot of experimenting going on early. Lessons learned. Boy, and Johnston right now, Dalton got by him. Ricky Harden not too far behind. Harden bringing Yazik with him. That is still a battle within inside the top 10. John Wilco, the 62, he's not in that fight with him. John Wilco a lap down, sitting back there in 19th. Sounds like Nick Cohan had a little bit of trouble getting around Matt Murphy that time. Cohan still in second. These drivers all clear the pit stop. I don't think anybody at this point, no, I don't see anybody left that's going to need to make a pit stop. You should be good to the finish here.
Yeah, the only way anybody's seeing pit road here for the rest of the time is if we end up having a caution.
Norman Pelletier very, very slow on this backstretch, letting cars get by. His car just not up to full speed. Nick Cohan getting by in second. Pelletier getting out of the way up the track. Good job by Norm. Boy, they really got spread out up front. Adam and, short of a caution flag, I think your top 3 right now really, really comfortable with their position on track. None of those 3 is threatening the other one. The best battle right now looks to be Paul Pepper and Tommy Ryan in that top 5. Oh, I take that back. Maybe we've got a 3-way battle here for 7th. Now, Ricky Harden's got a little bit of an advantage, but Tim Johnston, Brian Yazik played a little bit of leapfrog back here. Oh, Yazik going to come by. Tim Johnston got really slow there. You know what? I think he had a close moment coming off of turn 2, had to back out of it. Really cost him a lot of momentum. Here comes Brian Yazik. Is it going to be enough to get him to the rear end of Ricky Harden? I don't know. We are running out of time. We're going to be 7 laps to go this time across the line for them.
Well, it's just really the only one battle racetrack you've been talking about. Then really the only thing I still see left is a bunch of beat up race cars. But P4 sounds like it's starting to heat up here.
Yeah.
And Tommy Ryan's just been kind of very slowly reeling in Paul Pepper.
Yeah, Ryan has had a bit of an up and down run tonight, but he has stayed up in the top 10 for most of the evening, and he's putting in some good work right now here on Paul Pepper. Just behind them, the lap car of Rick Thompson. Thompson actually moving pretty well, but what you've got to watch out for is Tyler Dalton, who's sneaking up, trying to get into this fight for the top 5. Now Dalton's getting a run. Got the air of Rick Thompson to work with, draft with just a bit. Could put him up to challenge Tommy Ryan and Paul Pepper for those spots. Rick Thompson giving direction to Tyler Dalton. Tyler Dalton taking him down on the low side.
Paul Pepper really where Paul Pepper right now is weakest. I think he has slightly older tires than Tommy Ryan too. Is really on the exits of the corners. That's where really Tommy Ryan's able to get the best runs on him right now.
And boy, we're going to have a real battle for this 4th spot, because I really think Tyler Dalton's got the legs to get there. Just under 5 laps to go right now. This is going to get intense. They've got really no trouble in front of them. Thomas George a whole 3.5 seconds up the track. lap car of Norm Pelletier, who we know will pull over when they get to him. Tommy just all over him now. Probably fighting that wheel tremendously. Having a ride right off the center. Here comes Tyler Dalton. Dalton with a run. A run through 4. Oh, Dalton gets a little loose off.
Ooh. Tommy Ryan going to make a late move here on Paul Pepper. He gets the nose inside. Paul Pepper drifts up a little bit, tries to fight back, can't do it. And I think Dalton's going to take advantage of it here too.
Yeah, Dalton trying to get in there also.
Oh, you don't get much closer than that. Oh, they do make contact there.
Dalton gets him. Dalton gets him. Paul hangs on to it. Great job by Tyler Dalton. Boy, Rick Thompson got a really nice shot of that.
One thing we can't forget about is while those guys are sitting back there rubbing fenders, Ricky Harden has been flying up on this pack here too. He's only got Rick Thompson to go through. He's right on these guys' rear bumper.
Yeah, and Rick Thompson not running too bad himself right now. The car is awful beat up, but he is definitely part of this race. Not fighting for his own position there, but definitely involved in this run. Man, that car really good through the center. Ooh, he gets a nice run, and he brings that 15 of Ricky Harden right with him. Harden gets some nice draft off the 76. And Harden going to scream on by now. That is really going to get him to Paul Pepper. Look at that slingshot. That slingshot bringing him around right into Paul Pepper's mirror. Pepper in trouble here. Two laps to go in this 300-mile race tonight. Whew.
Here comes Harden.
Oh, another spot for Harden.
Now the question is, does he have enough time to get up to Tyler Dalton?
Yeah, it's going to be a big ass. Going to be.
Oh! Paul Pepper just been kind of a little bit of a battering ram here the last couple of laps.
Yeah, Paul's a little bit rattled. Probably not very happy right now. Dalton, Ryan, side by side off the turn. Ryan almost gets a piece of the wall coming off the turn too. They drag race down this backstretch, neck and neck. Neither one of them faster than the other. Dalton going to get to the turn first. Ryan going to get right up on the bumper. Oh, look, there's Ricky Harden. Ricky Harden going to try and push his teammate in front of him. The white flag is out. Jeff Ward making his way around. Still on this battle back here between Harden, Tommy Ryan, the teammates next to each other. Tyler Dalton in front of him. Not a battle for the podium, but still a good battle indeed. Ryan, Harden, side by side. Jeff Ward, though, into turn 3. One short shoot to go. Into turn 4. The Loud Pedal Motorsports South driver gonna bring it home tonight in this 300-mile race. Your winner, Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward, what a race for Jeff Ward. Nick Cohan, don't mess with him. He's coming in second. Wow. The Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300. Jeff Ward, your winner. Nick Cohan, second. Thomas George comes across in third. Wow, Adam, what a big race. Driver still fighting to the line. Jeff Ward taking home a cash bonus prize tonight. Your Fast Five for Darlington are going to be Jeff Ward, Nick Cohan, Thomas George, Tyler Dalton, and Ricky Harden. Drivers still coming across here. Justin Rodden going to be the last of those, and that completes our race.
A little bit after the race fireworks too. Paul Pepper kind of hunted down Tyler Dalton there for a second.
Yeah, not very happy with each other, but hey, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick break. Our last one, I promise. We're going to come back, give you the full rundown, and maybe talk to a few of these drivers about the race here at Indy tonight. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks. back home again in Indiana. We are here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You just saw the Coastal Safety Auditors Brickyard 300 here with the Premier Racing League Patriot Fire Cup Series. What a race. I'm still out of breath. Let's look at the results. Jeff Ward, your big winner and Fast 5 contestant, wins $50 tonight, immediately being transferred to his PayPal account. I think I get $50 too. Nick Cohan, second place for him, a big night for Cohan. Thomas George, your third place finisher tonight. Tyler Dalton, fourth. Ricky Harden, fifth. Again, that means the top five, they all qualify for the next Fast 5 event in Darlington. Tommy Ryan finished in sixth. Paul Pepper in seventh tonight. Brian Yazik, eighth. Was all the way back from Eldora last night to finish eighth tonight. James Grahula up 16 spots, actually an EOL to start this race, finishes ninth. And Tim Johnston rounds out the top 10 right where he started.
Yeah, how about Nick Cohan up there making a big move on Brian Yazik at the top of the point standings here too at the end of this day. Coming home in 11th, Andrew Jones. 12th, Drew Carroll. Chris Scala coming home in 13th. Devin Serra in 14th position. 15th position belongs to Rhett McBride here for tonight. And hanging tough in there, staying, even taking the lucky dog and be able to stay most of the race and, on the lead lap despite some damage. Rick Thompson, Norman Peltier III coming home in 17th. John Wilco in 18th. Devin Cannon in 19th, and Matt Murphy in 20th.
Okay, and Scott Eckridge, man, boy, what a tough finish for him. Winds up 21st, gets rattled there at the end, gets his cage rattled or run over, take your choice, and then finishes 21st. 22nd, going to go to Justin Rodden. 23rd, Calvin Filarski. Rich Jetty, 24th. Don Runkle Jr., Snoop Doggy Don, the Zigzag Toyota, 25th this evening. Derek Paulson, 26th. That poor guy was a pinball this evening. Troy Haight, 27th. Michael Krobach going to finish 28th. Bad luck just follows that dude around. Gregory McDougall, 29th. And 30th, going to go to Travis McQuistion tonight.
Yeah, 31st position going to belong to Joshua King. Randy Yoakum in 32nd position. Stephen Haring in 33rd. Woodrow Mahan in 34th. Gerald Livingston in 35th. And 36th position, who did not take the field, was Billy Tungate. Of course, a lot of these guys back here, with the exception of Billy Tungate, running into trouble early stages of the race.
We have caught up with Jeff Ward in Victory Lane. Jeff, when are you going to let somebody else win a race in this league?
We're gonna ride this thing as long as we can, man. It's been a crazy stretch here, but they're hard to get, and I had a lot of bad luck at the beginning of the year, so maybe I'm just being repaid for some of that bad luck. But
yeah, maybe that karma is starting to come back around in your favor, brother. 2 weeks in a row, you sweep the races, and what an impressive little streak you're on. But you know what? Things change a bit next week. We're going to go lefty-righty again at Mossport. Can you keep the momentum going there? I know you're going to sure try.
No, this streak's going to end there. We got too many guys that are road course ringers. And, you know, Tommy's always good. Rhett's a great road course racer. My teammate Brian, Nick. So it's just, we'll probably be about a fifth place car out there, honestly. I'm not even familiar with Mossport, at least not too much. But, yeah, man, it's if it ends next week, it's been awesome. And I've had a blast. And yeah, my teammates might be getting pissed off. They might think Brian's giving me better cars than the other guys or something, but in the shop there. But it's been crazy, and like I said, just riding it as long as we can.
Now, I know you're a Mid-South driver, and of course that region, rather generic. Where are you from, Jeff?
I'm actually in Louisville, Kentucky. It's about 2 hours south of Indy, so this is kind of right in my backyard.
Okay.
Not a huge fan of Indy. Honestly, I didn't know if I figured we'd be a top 5, but I didn't think we'd come out here with this speed tonight. And so that's just awesome. You know, even the tracks that ain't my best tracks we're kind of clicking on right now. So that's when you know you got a golden horseshoe. But yeah, it's kind of in my backyard, so it's awesome to get the win here.
So is it? So are you a baseball fan?
I watch a little bit of college baseball. I like
Okay.
Louisville and Kentucky baseball.
I figured since you were in Louisville, maybe, just maybe, you had a strong baseball affiliation. Of course, home of the Louisville Slugger and the Bat Factory there in Louisville. Jeff, congratulations on the big win tonight, man. Really excited to be part of this streak. Not that I really did anything except call the races. Really fun to watch you dominate, to be honest.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. If I could, I'd like to just thank my team, LPM. Thank James and Brian and for running the league here at PRL. Car count's been down a little bit, but tonight we had 30 cars, so that's awesome. Just thank my dad. He watches these broadcasts, and friends and family.
Yeah, no, we had a good time tonight, and thanks again, Jeff. We'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Jeff Ward. Nick Cohan finishes second tonight, and Adam has caught up with him.
Yeah, how about Nick Cohan, who, great finish, by the way, Nick, and the new points just got released. You shaved 20 points off Yazik's lead in the overall season standings. You're only 16 points behind now, bud. Hey, tell us a little bit about your night.
Oh, man, gonna need more airtime. I think it was like lap 4 or whatever. I don't know what happened to my computer, but it just crashed out, and I had to restart the computer. Thanks to Samsung for the solid state drive to get me in here real quick. I was 3 laps down, and iRacing was trying really hard to not get me back out there multiple times. It wasn't giving me the wave around, even though I was in front of everybody, or lucky dog. And then I didn't have a spotter when I came back, so I didn't have a spotter for the first 40, 50 laps until Krobach wrecked, and he stepped in the booth there in the tower and helped us out. That was a big help because it was hard to judge without having a spotter out there. Also kept me calm too, so thanks to Mike. Then just took care of the car and just played some strategy and stayed out of trouble and just put us in a good position.
Well, and it sets you up though for a good run here for the next couple weeks. Having just a great finish. Of course, you've been just chipping away at Brian Yazik's points lead. What do you think your chances are going into a road course next week?
I don't know. I really thought I didn't have any chance at Suzuki either, and I ended up winning that one. So I have a little bit more confidence at the road course this time, but Mosport I've never had any luck at, and it's not my type of track. Especially, I've never even ran it in the Cup cars. So we'll see how that goes. Not really looking forward to that one. That one's gonna be tough, and I know Brian's really good there, so it's gonna be a handful. But we go to Pocono the next week, so that's my home track and my favorite track. So hopefully these next 2 races here we can kind of just at least stay put with them here and just keep fighting and just try and wheel them in here by the end.
Well, once again, congratulations on just having a great run here, and especially in a race where everybody came away, for the most part, except for you and Jeff Ward there, coming away looking like you're running Bristol and Martinsville cars. So great, clean race. And Nick, hopefully we'll talk to you into the MO Sport next week.
Thanks, Adam. Just shout out to Mike again for spotting tonight. That was awesome. And thanks to Toyota, Lab Pedal Motorsports, and CJ Automotive. We'll see you in Canada next week.
Nick Cohan, everybody. And I think Sean's going to catch up here with Thomas George.
Yeah, I'm sure Thomas George is actually pretty excited about a podium finish because it does get him tied in points, tied for third with Tommy Ryan for the season points right now. Tom, another solid, consistent run, your 13th top 10 of the season.
I'll trade them all for one win.
That's the only column you don't have any activity in. We need to get you there. What's it going to take? Does it happen at Mosport?
Probably not. It's going to take the right strategy. I thought if that last caution hadn't come out, I think we would have had it, and we were saving fuel to go on just one stop. I knew I had enough to make it on one stop. A lot of the other leaders were pitting. I didn't know if Jeff or Nick or Scott were going to pit there, but I took this track is so friggin' hard to race on. That's why winning here is special, and I can't be upset with a third place, but it seemed like every time we got a track position, we got up front, then we would lose it to something, whether I was getting door slam going into turn 1, I won't name names, or getting, I mean, on my fair share, I race aggressive too, but only when it happens to me, so I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, we were up front, then we would get shuffled back, have to work our way back up, get shuffled back again, have to work our way back up, and then, like I said, that last caution, if it hadn't come out, I think we would have gotten a top 5 regardless, but I think a lot of the leaders have burned off a lot of their fuel, and we still had some left. I wasn't pushing it too hard into the corners. I was backing up and saving and clutching it, but you never know. I mean, same thing with Charlotte. Same strategy I had. I decided short pit. I thought I had a winning strategy there, but just cautions came out at the wrong time, and it's going to take. I mean, we're fast, but it's hard to beat guys in here just from being fast. Sometimes you got to play the right strategy, and we did play it. We got a third out of what we did, so it's coming. We just got to keep trying.
Yeah, keep digging, man. I mean, it's been fun watching you run, and listen, a great one tonight. Honestly, I'm not going to name any names either, but you had a door slammed on you a couple of times tonight, and your racecraft was on point this evening, because that could have been big trouble at the end of your night, and you still managed to hang on for a podium. Congratulations. Maybe, just maybe, next week at Mosport, we can get you to the top of this thing.
We'll see. Just shows how, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but racecraft always beats out door slamming. So, what's after Mosport? Is it, I can't remember if it's, is it Pocono?
Pocono. Oh boy.
Pocono, then maybe Watkins
Right.
Glen. I don't know. There's a couple of tracks I like coming up ahead. We'll see. Like I said, just gonna have to keep running up front and see where the chips may fall.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Tom. Thank you, buddy. We'll see you next week at Mosport, and safe travel to you, my friend.
Yes, sir. And Steel Horse will be there to break up the pain too. I gotta love my teammates. Gotta give that shout out to them.
All right, Thomas George, your third place finisher tonight, rounding out our podium. Adam, great race this evening. Lots of fun. Your closing thoughts, sir?
Well, real rough start of the race, but once you start seeing those green flag pit stops, you really saw kind of what happened. You also saw how, with the low spoiler in these Cup cars, just how hard it's going to be to get onto pit road at Indy. I mean, you got some top-of-the-line drivers here, and several of them had some trouble. So that's kind of my big takeaway from this, especially for you guys out there that are, and I know you're out there, you're watching races, trying to learn how to race this track, and they put on a good show tonight.
Yes, sir, they did, and I want to give a special thanks to the Premier Racing League for putting on the Patriot Fire Cup Series. Also want to thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast. You'll see those on our screen here in just a moment. We also want to give thanks to our musical contributors, Erica Coleman and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can find at their websites that we've got right there on screen for you. For more information about future races, you can see the list on the screen as they scroll by here in a moment, or you can go to globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can check out past broadcasts and even check our current schedule of events that we've got going. You'll also find us on social media, Twitter, of course, at GSR Channel, and on Facebook, if you just type in Global Sim Racing Channel, you'll find us there too. But until next time, we will be on the air with the Premier Racing League Patriot Fire Cup Series in a week from this evening, Thursday, for round 22. Patriot Fire Cup Series at Mosport for some road racing in Canada. Congratulations again to our winner, Jeff Ward, tonight. For Dougie Beard, I'm Jed Yaman, Adam Young, I'm Sean Ambrose. The lock is on the gate. It's time to get out of here. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.